Well, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment. First, real quick disclaimer, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, all pertinent links are going to be right there in the description box for you. So should you like to deep dive on either subject, you'll definitely be able to go ahead and do so. Trigger warning, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and when we cover places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present that are 16 and younger, parental supervision very much advised, alright? Alright, let's get back to where we left off. Alright, this one says, I am an autistic person who struggles with self-injurious behaviors and have autistic friends who struggle with self-injurious behaviors as well. My friend that I've told you guys about when I used to live in an assisted living apartment where it was a transition apartment basically to go from being in high school into, at least for me, because high school and college were happening simultaneously. So it was from going into high school into going into the workforce, transition apartment type of program. And although I don't have those issues unless I'm in all out meltdown, I do have or have had in the past other self-destructive tendencies that didn't look like that to neurotypical people because it's the same type of self-harming behavior that they get up to. Such as knowingly, to the point I actually researched exactly how much alcohol it would take for me to bite it, as it were. And this happened not long after my dad passed away. And drank, and it fueled eventually full out alcoholism. So severe that the few times I did not have alcohol in my system, I would shake so hard, I'm pretty sure people may mistake me as a crack addict when I used to do that. Other forms of self-harm would be extreme procrastination, let opportunities slide by without me even trying to get involved or being a part of it. A lot of different things, folks. But Renee was more traditional with her self-injury behaviors. Thankfully, nobody told Renee she was going to have to go to the JRC. They put her on a person-centered plan that has helped reduce those behaviors. Now, does she still have them on occasion? Of course she does. There's never going to be anything, please hear me parents, anything that's going to stop those behaviors 100%. But if you do things right, you can at least get it down to a bare minimum to where we'll be able to at least function in society and be able to work and go out there to do the things we need to do before we get to crash at home in our pseudo-autistic bubbles of no. So, let me go ahead and continue here. I have learned the shocks are more powerful than tasers and they hurt people. It scares me to think that there are people just like me in this country who are being tortured for being disabled. And no matter what kind of flowery words or excuses you try to give JRC, that's what it is. That's what it is. You are literally torturing us because we have a label. But it's the only thing that helps. My 40 years on planet Earth says different. Renee's 46 years on Earth says different. My nephew Estes says different. Just putting it out there. Electric shocks are not the only way to stop dangerous behaviors disabled people may engage in, and I get help controlling myself in ways that do not torture or abuse me. As did I. See? remember when I told you about the whole ponytail holder twist thing? Well, it replaced something else I used to do, where I used to dig nails into different rough parts of my skin and nails, which would lead to ripped skin around my fingernails. So my mom was not trying to stop me from stimming. She wanted to replace that stem with something else that I do semi-regularly that does not cause injury. Because I've never caused injury while doing the thing. But always, like, I show you guys this, but usually it's not up where everybody can see it. It's down low and usually to the side. But you get my point. There are other ways that does not threaten anyone to allow us to be ourselves and not punish us. Maybe we should start thinking a little bit more about that, especially as now we have at least 20 years of data in regards to the success rate of the person-centered model. So far, it has been doing brilliantly, especially out here, whereas everywhere else is regressive in this state. The one place that is still doing semi-decently at the moment, because let's face it, I don't trust any of these bastards as far as I can throw them, but at the moment, we are treated better within our treatment programs, and the general populace, as annoying as they can be, than a lot of other folks like me in other states. Don't get me wrong, it's a red state. We got a lot of issues. Don't get me wrong, or don't get it twisted. But you get what I'm saying, right? Please ban the use of electric skin shock devices. Alright, I'm going to go back here and go to the next one. Alright, this one says, I fully support the implementation of this ban. The concept of utilizing electric shock on individuals in 2024, remember last summer, is difficult, well, the summer before last, excuse me. It's difficult to fathom and represents a significant infringement on fundamental human rights, as well as a clear example of unethical conduct. It's imperative that we unite in our efforts to eliminate this reprehensible practice permanently. Go off, Allison. Short, simple, and to the point. Gotta love it, right? Alright, now last one for this particular video here. Alright, now remember, this is a template for those who are BCBAs. I'm not going to go on my usual ADA rant. I'm going to try to just read it straight through this time. Just know all those points still stand. I am writing to the Food and Drug Administration proposal to ban the electrical stimulation devices intended for self-injurious behavior or aggressive behavior. I, along with colleagues in the disability community, have long advocated that these practices are trauma-inducing and torturous practices which must be abolished. I supported the ban on ESDs that the FDA sought in 2020 and was disappointed when the decision was vacated by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit on July the 6th, 2021. I was full out ugly crying for at least 2 solid days. Thankfully, in response to a wave of advocacy on this important issue, Congress took directive action to update the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, giving the FDA full authority to ban the use of ESDs. Thus, there must be no question about the FDA's authority to take the current course of action and ban their use. I urge the FDA to act quickly to finalize this proposal, so that the children and adults with disabilities no longer must suffer pain and dangerous electric shocks. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? We're going to go ahead and close out on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. Some of the views we do get removed from time to time, so if you would be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and as always, folks, please don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all here in a little bit. Bye-bye, everyone.